We've been so lucky to inherit the impact of the civil rights movement, and we've been spoiled for generations, at least 1 or 2 generations, which with enough time to make us feel like we're beyond our experience. We're beyond our ancestors' experiences. And we cannot identify that now's a time to go back to that moment where we would invoke our ancestors to talk about these things that are happening and hoping that we would have power to change people's minds, power to impact the ethos.
We move toward looking specifically for financial freedom and maybe some social
Yeah.
benefits, especially the ones that come with financial freedom, that liberation has stopped being on the brain. So you sell out
Yeah.
liberation so that in the moment you can have money.
Yes.
We have to recognize that there are very few people in the mainstream
Mm.
who are looking for our liberation. I want the girlies to know, yes, I do mean your
Yeah.
fave. Yes, your fave is probably looking more about the pocket than about the liberation, which I feel in my Nigerian Americanness brings me back to the diasporic conversation that we were having about who all even counts. Knowing that we are divided in that some of us want freedom, mostly financial, and some of us want liberation, which will not necessarily come with financial benefits, not on the way,
Yeah.
not on the way.
Yeah.
And also the diaspora wars. Where does Black desire stand where it comes to this idea of our consciousness, freedom, and liberation?
Wow. Wow.
In your opinion, of
Yeah. No,
course.
this is a great question because the desire aspect and the freedom aspect and the liberation aspect, I think that they have this through line of desire. I think it maintains itself because it's always there. It's a desire for more. As Black people, I think we share that desire for more. Whether you are in Lagos right now, or whether you're in Accra, or whether you are in Joburg, or whether you are in Flint, or whether you are in New Orleans, there
Yeah.
is this thing about us where the best of us and oftentimes the least of us in terms of excess, we are thinking about how do we get out. There's a desire for peace.
Peace what? Because when you say peace, it evokes for me
Mm.
war. What do you mean?
What I mean by peace is like wherever you are in the diaspora, what that looks like for you. So when I say Accra, right? Peace may mean that you are looking to sort of like establish Ghana as the place to be in West Africa, the least corruption, the most accessibility, the place where we want everyone to come back. The desire is to build this place to be a folks where different Black folks of the diaspora can come to. A Black person in here in America, maybe in a place like New York, maybe looking for financial freedom, maybe to make it big. In LA, same thing, right? But the overarching thing is peace, whatever that is, so that you can feel that you're not encumbered by the bills or violence or whatever those things are. Kind of the way that a lot of us, like even myself, has a desire to get out the hood
Yeah.
in my younger years, right? That desire that we have, how can you take these different circumstances and this desire for better, desire for
Mhm.
more, arguably this desire for peace, and bring all of that desire together like this across Blackness, across the diaspora, across the different circumstances that we're in? And I have given so much thought to this. Like, this is the question. Here's where I've gotten to. Sway don't know, Kanye don't nobody know. How is it that you can bring folks together? Now, I've been in conversation with other people before, and the first thing that they bring up are Jewish folks. They bring up Jewish folks automatically when you think about a group of people who've gone through something extremely upending your whole entire life, your whole people, everything that you are as a culture just upended, have to go somewhere else. Now, we can talk about all of that kind of stuff another time, the things that sort of like went into this, but the way that the community comes together and has made an agreement, at least, especially if you're outside of the community, to see that it seems to be a united front. How, oh, we need to be more like these people. Again, me, how? How do you take this desire, the same desire that you can argue that Jewish folks had, never again, to actually make this something that has legs? And I've gotten to a place, Dr. Donna, where I at first had to go through a grieving process that this is not the kumbaya, all Black people gonna do all things type of shit. That's not what's going on here. And it never will, as far as I'm concerned, right? I don't believe that to be true. I think that where we are is in a place where everyone has to get to at least a place where they are more awake. They're more conscious. They are
Mhm.
woke. And I figure like, okay, well, if we're gonna work our way backwards and get people to see it here first, because your circumstances may not change. You may have a hard time getting a job from now and for the next 2 years, depending on what's going on in your circumstance. What am I supposed to say to make you care about me and my black ass struggle over here when I have running water and I have electricity, but I just can't get this one specific thing that I'm looking for? We're not even on the same page necessarily. How do you get there consciously? So what I have thought about is the moments where we were able to seem to get on the same page. So let's take George Floyd. That's the nearest and truest example. For Black people, what was happening at that time? At that time, we were going through a pandemic. Everybody was at home. Everybody had a base level experience that things were really, really shitty. I can't leave my house. So people were plugged in and paying attention. People were ready like an open vessel for what is to come next. Where are we pointing our attention to? Now, when I think about this part, I say to myself, well, this is something that we are not likely to see again, right? We're not likely to see this very specific thing happen in this way because this type of pandemic had happened every 100 years. Now, what is the next thing? George Floyd passed, and people were able to see that death. But people had been able to see these deaths over and over again before. So that's not really as much of a factor as I would like it to be, but it was these things together. And so, Dr. Donna, one thing that I know to be true is that we're gonna have to figure it out, but it might not be the way where we can just create a solution ourselves. When we're watching these fires burn and we hear about Beyonce giving $2 million and we hear about these other celebrities giving money for specific Black neighborhoods, especially because we know that a historically Black neighborhood is burned down. It's the tragedy, it's the funeral and the family that brings everybody together.
That is
It's
sad as
sad.
fuck.
It's sad, but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can.
But I would also argue that the flip side is also true because the wedding brings the people together
I
too.
mean, that's true.
It's not just the funeral, it's also the
I
wedding.
mean, that's true. I'm searching for those moments. I'm searching for the wedding-like moment. Well, what
Yeah.
would you say? Could you
And I feel like what you're saying is that we need to get better at those quieter moments.
Yes, those wedding-like
We need
moments.
to get better at building ourselves and connecting with our families beyond the wedding and the funeral.
Yes. Yes.
And I feel like number one, that hits real fucking true
Mhm.
because you're right. We do come together for the funeral. We come together for the tragedy. We speak up at the tragedy. I think that that is sad and necessary because it to me it says like we recognize the collective grief that we are going through. We recognize the seismic shift and that we are wanting to make sure that we remember that we are
Yeah.
connected. Even my literal wedding experience was one of being offered money and resources, time resources, monetary resources, etc. for this wedding. Like the people came through,
Mhm.
right? And I'm remembering when we buried my grandma back when we was raw dog in the air.
Mhm.
Um
I remember those days.
yes, them days, them days. I remember that family members came together for that as well, right? Like the monetary and again, time resources. But I'm also remembering that people wouldn't even be bothered to come to my graduation.
Mm.
That when I said I was starting a business, it did not come with monetary anything. It came with good luck.
Yes.
If it came with good lucks, because mostly it came with you should go get a job, right? It it comes with those pieces, and I'm just like, in those quieter moments, like, for example, when I found myself in the hospital getting 3 and 4 bags of blood because I'd almost bled out because of my
Mm.
fibroids, I'm like, "Where is the where's the community then?"
Mhm.
Right? Like, it's in those smaller and quieter moments that I think that quite frankly, we lost the plot.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
lost the plot.
Yeah.
For me, this feels like a symptom of being in a very loud, supremacist culture. It means that we only hear the loudness of our celebration or the level of our grief.
Yeah.
That we can't seem to catch in to the smaller moments and connect.
Yes.
That we don't that number 1, we've lost the skill, especially in a world where everybody and their mama is trying to get the financial freedom
Mhm.
and those resources, and we've seen social media as the way for people to be able to get that shmoney,
Absolutely.
that people don't wait until they have something to say. They always just open their
For no
mouths.
reason, just
Something my mom used to say to me on occasion, use your mouth and your ears in accordance to their number.
mhm.
God gave you 2 ears. Oh, yeah, listen.
Yes.
Don't talk.
Yes.
And I don't know that we are listening out for each
No,
other,
not at
for what's going on with each other, because we are so anxious to speak, because we are seeking our freedom, that we're not always in the space to properly be seeking our liberation.
Yes, yes, yes. Come on, and play that back. I think, like, people when you're watching this, play this back because that is a part of what we're experiencing. It's the gotcha, gotcha, especially as it pertains to activism. We talk about consciousness. So consciousness leads to activism. Whether you are somebody who's gonna say something in your neighborhood, in your family, in your house, or whether you're gonna be somebody who shouts it from the rooftops. These things are connected. So when you are missing the consciousness piece, you're just saying shit, you're just talking shit. You have no idea where this lands, positively or negatively, no idea how to add context to the way that we are out here shouting things from the rooftop. And I get concerned about places like this, like the activism space, because it gets, again, bastardized by this the allure of fame, the allure that your voice gets automatically microphoned by putting it here because you put it here on your little. It doesn't mean you have to go into any room. You don't have to go into a room. You don't have to talk to anybody. All you have to do is put something here and press send, and you feel like you changed the world. That's a
Sure.
lie.
And
It's a
I
lie.
like to remind people that feelings are not facts. And yet, which world are we talking about?
Mhm.
Right? So, like, when we talk about gleaning, like I said, glean into those smaller moments and stop just the cries of celebration or of grief, but being able to find those small moments. Part of those small moments, I think, actually means that even if in that moment you said something, if one person hears something or is changed by something, you have changed the world. You changed their world.
Mhm. Absolutely.
You may have also changed your world in knowing that your voice matters in this way. There's a reason that we start with this feelings chart,
Yeah.
because it is consciousness. It requires you
Yeah.
to know where you are standing in any given moment, because I believe that our emotions are such a beautiful way to have power. And people be looking at me like, like side-eyed when I say this.
Mhm.
But like, my favorite emotion is anger. I love anger. I think it's so cute. I love the full-bodiedness of it. I love the way that it demands attention because it is loud. It is a very loud, emotion, though sometimes it simmers before it boils over, and I don't think that we get the part where
Ah,
it simmers. We hear the part where it boils over.
yeah.
So when somebody's just like, "Well, fuck you then," now we heard that,
Right.
right? We didn't hear the other parts where somebody's just like, "I wish a bitch
Right,
would."
I'll be like, "Don't do that. Don't do that. Not
Word.
to
Like, you fuck around, you finna what?
find out."
Find out,
Yeah.
right? Like, we miss those quieter pieces, and I'm like, if you can glean into it for you, then you are better equipped to hear it when you see it
Yeah.
in someone else,
Yes.
right? And in the time that you connect with one other, you won.
Mhm.
In the time where you connect with yourself, you won. You did change the world, yours.
Mhm.
And now you get to do something with those emotions, because emotions have purpose.
Yeah.
Anger tells you that you have been wronged in some way, and it is urging you to do something about it. And I think that we lose that because we are again chasing freedom, not liberation.
Mhm.
And it makes me wonder, and maybe this is a question for the masses, for like, hey, something for us to ask ourselves, right? Like, in what ways are we looking for our freedom, and what ways are we also looking for our liberation,
Mhm.
right? Because I think both are important. Because I mean, quite frankly, hey, liberation, you might not be able to eat that, right? Like, it may not taste that good.
Mhm.
You might still be hungry, but financial freedom can put a roof over
Yeah,
your head.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I like my shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm thinking about those things, and I I don't want anyone to leave this conversation believing that we've said that pursuing things that you want is wrong per se. But I also find myself being like, well, I mean, you can be Glinda or you can be Elphaba.
Yeah.
And sometimes you are going to more than likely be a mixture of both.
Mhm.
But which way you trying to lean with a rock with?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me shut up. So that we can get to this part where we start doing our like closeout, which is for me to ask you, what do you want people to have taken from this conversation? And because I'm going, not just what you want, not just what the desire is, but also what do you desire for them to do from this conversation? Not just take, but do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think you said a lot of profound things in this last bit of this conversation in particular that I really want people to be able to I hope they get through all of this conversation, and I encourage people to watch it again because ultimately we're having this to talk about this black consciousness space, which has been missing from a lot of conversations that we've been having lately. People are talking about body count, they're talking about men's roles and women's roles, and it's all done without a certain level of consciousness. And the consciousness in this idea of being, first of all, simply curious about what black people are going through, finding out, right? The consciousness leads to the action, I believe. But as we go through this conversation, I want folks to just think about where you are right now. Think about Blackness and how it's is right now. Even if you're here in the States, if you're on the continent, if you're in the UK, think about where Blackness is right now. Think about the rollback of affirmative action here in the States. Think about the rollback of a women's right to choose. Think about the cabinet running the world and the country that are going to legislate according to their orientation and the amount of power that that is. And then think about how much we have cultivated our power, whether big or small, and grade that and let that inform sort of like how you take this next piece, which is that consciousness. And what I want people to take from this is that consciousness is for all of us. And it's
Mhm.
something that we have, just like our favorite Kendrick Lamar line, just like your favorite Beyonce song, just like Martin, how Martin used to feel, right? Or how Fresh Prince used to make you feel, or Steve Urkel used to make you feel, or whatever the hell is going on these days. But that feeling, that's a part of Black consciousness. It's the things
Mhm.
that connect us, and no one has to say a thing. And I think we just need to reactivate that connection to each other. So in terms of action, how do you kinda, like, plug into this? Again, curiosity, do your research, learn something about Black people, but I do think that what can you do right now today is to share this conversation with someone, obviously, that's like a bare minimum, but outside of that, I think it's about getting plugged into this next era that we're in. There is this,
Mhm.
it's gonna get worse, we're going to be in the throes of AI,
It
misinformation, yeah, disinformation, and so for Black people to survive, we have to be informed. So when we talk about action, if you hear a story, research it. If people are talking about Black people, where Black people are being disenfranchised or they're vulnerable, learn about the situation. It doesn't mean you have to donate any money, but learn about it, understand it, get plugged into it. That's what we
Mhm.
need. Another thing, and this is like the last tactical thing,
Yeah.
see someone like Dr. Donna, you see someone like what we're doing here at Stranger Fruit, support. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you have to give money. You should, because trust and believe that people are giving money to Turning Point USA and to the Heritage Foundation and to PragerU and all of these places that are looking to police Black bodies and women's bodies. They are queer bodies. They are definitely giving to those organizations. Understand that being informed is a part of the Black experience in the ways that white folks, and I'm not making this a binary situation where it's white people against Black people. I'm not saying that. But in terms of the cultural moment that we're in, if you pay attention, we're in a cultural moment. And the leaders of this cultural moment are white supremacists. They've always been
Is
leaders, but they have added a certain level of culture through things like MAGA to make sure that they're taking up space physically and also in the matrix and the digital world where we're spending our time. So if we don't act now, if we don't get involved, plugged in, linked together, If you're gonna travel and you're gonna spend your dollars, go to Black places, learn more about Black people, get plugged in. These action items, some of this sounds very privileged because it requires a passport and it requires money. But doing a Google search, learning about Sudan, learning about the Congo, learning about Black artists, learning about different types of things, you can do that from your phone if you're lucky enough to have one. So if you're watching this, my assumption is that you have some access to technology. These are practical things that you can do. But remember, this is inside outside. It's not just about reprimanding people. We're not reprimanding anyone here and telling people what to do. It's more so about how is it that you can impact your own life and the world around you. You mentioned it. Like the liberation part is inside. Right? That the freedom is more so temporary, and I think, like, if we can get people to understand that and then take some of those actions, we'll just be better off because this whole entire time while we've been distracted by whatever, TikTok, you're distracted by the kind of, like, the soft life that we're all aspiring to right now. These folks who have seen us as enemy number 1, they've been getting together, they've been meeting each other in houses, they've been homeschooling their kids, they've been legislating, and now they are in a level of power that's not just here in America, but it's all around the world where this growing right movement has been gaining a lot of steam, and again, we are the antagonists for that movement, it's us. So if we don't wake up and stay woke, we're gonna wind up, definitely meeting our demise, and I don't wanna be alarmist be an alarmist, so this is not hyperbole, I believe it to actually be true.
Thank you for reminding us of what we can do. It reminds me of a African proverb: "If you think you're too small to make a difference, you've not spent the night with a mosquito." I
Yes! Yeah,
and oh,
I love
yes.
that. I love that. We need to be mosquitoes.
So I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for gracing us with your thoughts, your knowledge, your wisdom, for laying it down in simple steps,
Thank
things that we can do. Where can we find you? And what do you got coming up?
Ooh, thank you, it's a twofer, okay. So you can find me at I_am_Donovan on, like, Instagram. But I would love if you would follow the work because as much as this is an amazing experience, I love speaking with you. There are so many people in terms of what I'm working on that I'm looking to bring together. And that's the work that we've been doing. So we're doing that with Stranger Fruit. You can follow us at the Stranger Fruit on whatever platform that you're on, Instagram, TikTok. And I am working on living what I'm talking about here, which is creating a space physically and in the the world, the matrix, where we can get together so that we can learn more about each other. And it's difficult conversation because I'm not trying to romanticize this shit. Thinking about multicultural coalition and mental health and just like social justice is messy, hard, unsexy work. And we cannot do it alone. So we're building a platform so that we can bring people together, whether you are on the continent, whether you're in Europe, whether you're here, wherever you are in the diaspora, we're creating a place that you can come to get informed, activated, to organize, and to mobilize in a way that we have never seen before. And it's a challenge. And again, we cannot do it alone. So please follow us. Please keep in touch. Let us know your ideas. Let us know what's going on with you in whatever part of the world that you're in. And again, I just want to emphasize that when our ancestors started saying, stay woke, they did not believe that it would ever be anything that would be taken away from us to lash us and reprimand us. So we have to reclaim what it means to be woke. We have to reclaim consciousness. And these particular avenues that we've created allows us to do that. So follow us and stay plugged in and just sending love to everybody who's watching this.
Reclaiming our
Come
time.
on.
Soon for more.
Man, I love you, Dr. Donna. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You awesome.
Hey, sunshine. You know what time it is. It's time for some unfiltered advice. And I am still sort of reeling from this conversation with Donovan. And I really do hope that you will go and do the directives, right? Go take those steps. And here's one for me: look at you. I want you to consider the ways in which you are woke and the ways that you're not. I want you to consider the things that you've given up about yourself at the bequest of someone else, even if that someone else is your mammy, even if that someone else is your pappy. Because where it comes right down to it, that consciousness, that Black consciousness that we spoke of in that conversation, it starts with you, and you are an individual. So if you can wake up to the glory, to the deliciousness that is you, it might just be the thing to help you see that same glory and deliciousness in someone else. It may be that thing that helps you get to see someone, to understand someone, to be able to sit with someone, to hold space with someone, and to actually build a community, to hear what other people have to say and not devolve into stupid fights over nothing that go nowhere. Right? So I guess the unfiltered advice is Sankofa, and I am not Ghanaian. That means go back to go forward. Know where you've come from. Understand as much as you can. Put it within context of the then. Understand it with the context of the now, and then choose how you're going to go forward. Because while we say that we want community and togetherness, that we want wokeness, that we want Black consciousness, we have to know, number one, that all wants have a cost. All desires require you to pay a toll, especially if you want to bring that desire into a reality. So the question is, how bad do you want it? Do you mean it when you say it? Or you just talking out the side of your neck? I believe it was in the words of Childish Gambino in his song specifically. You go on now and stay woke.